1. Hello everybody, this is Tony Hager with IA Wrestle and Takedown Wrestling. We are headed to Buena Vista here today to talk to Jeff Breese, head coach in the Nike Hot Seat. How are you doing today, Jeff?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
So it's been a full year since I think you took the position in June of last year, around that
Yes.
range. So it's
Yep.
almost been a full year, and we're kind of looking back at this experience from NC State to BV. Has it kind of just set in that now you are a head coach and this is your program? You've had an opportunity to build on just 1 year of wrestling. Has that kind of just sunk in yet that this is where you're going to be?
Well, I mean, it's always been where I was going to be. That was a decision that was made before I ever decided to leave NC State. But I don't know that we've really taken any time to let anything fully sink in. It's been go, go, go since I got here and since we got our staff put together. And probably in a couple weeks from now, we'll probably have some recruiting wrapped up, and we'll take maybe a breath for like a week and get back and start hitting juniors before they roll over to actually be seniors this fall. So haven't taken a lot of time to let anything set in yet, but we're getting there.
Well, it's a grind at the Division III level. I was a Simpson College wrestler, and I know what my coaches went through as far as recruiting in the state. And what I have noticed, Jeff, is what you do on social media to promote yourself, the program, and wrestling in general. Is that one of your biggest philosophies? Is promoting the program?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a little bit of a communications and marketing media background, and so that's something that I feel like helps differentiate me from some other coaches. There are a lot of coaches out there that are really, really good at it, and that wasn't necessarily their background. But that's something that I try to focus on. I mean, we actually have a business plan for everything that we do. It's about a little less than a 100-page book, and there's a plan for literally everything we do. Some days, if you'd stop by our office, it may not look like it necessarily because we're running around trying to get things done, but we try and have a plan for everything. And as far as the Division III level goes, there's a lot of rules, a lot of restrictions, but we want to make sure we can get Division III wrestling promoted as much as humanly possible. So that's why we're always trying to do as much on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anything we can do on YouTube. We try and do because these kids are really good athletes and really great students. They should get as much fanfare and love as the guys in D1. It's the same sport. Maybe not quite as deep in certain places, but it's the same sport.
And do you think that your program has what it takes to be on the Best of Brands, the NWCA, the
I
Best of
hope
Brand
so.
Awards, I guess?
I think we got off to a slow start this year because it was year one and there was a lot of let's guess and check and see what works, opposed to waiting a year and saying, all right, this is our full plan for it. It was this is what we think we want to do. Let's just jump into it. And so there's some things that we started that we didn't follow up on this year, and some other things that we decided, well, we're going to move this in a little different direction. Um, so I don't know if we had the consistency that maybe we needed. But I think we certainly, I mean, it's on our checklist. It's written in our assistant coach's office. We plan to win an award in best of brand, if not this year, next year too. We want to win at everything. It's
Yeah.
it's that wrestling mentality. If there's an award out there, we want to find a way to try and win it. So we try and make our stuff of pretty good quality so that we're in the running for that anyway.
And one thing I want to kind of emphasis on Division III, from what I know, I was I guess a student athlete coach. I don't know what you want to call those guys. Don't get paid anything, but you're there and trying to help kids learn what you did, at the freshman level specifically. And what I notice is the head coach at the D3 level has so many tasks, so many jobs. The support staff has BV given you the tools to help you kind of be able to delegate jobs to assistant coaches?
Absolutely. We're very fortunate with what we have staff wise, and I'm a little bit greedy. I'm going to try and have more people every year. It's just the way we work. But I have an awesome assistant coach. He's really good at the social media side, and he's a relentless worker, and does a lot of really good stuff, and I turned travel over to him because I'd been doing travel for 2 years at NC State, and I just wanted a break from travel. He did an awesome job with our travel, and then the whole athletic department as a whole. Even though we may not have hundreds and hundreds of people like a Division I athletic department does, I can get a hold of people here so easy and get a question answered so quick that everyone works together really, really well here. There's a lot of times if it was something that wasn't really in their job description, that's not a big deal to them here. Yeah, it's what we need to do. It just gets done. Where I'm coming from a world where sometimes if it wasn't in their job description, they had no problem sending you an email and saying, this one's not mine. You need to talk to this guy, which was fine. That's the way the structure was set up. But everyone here has been great. Anything we need, they find a way to help us get it done.
I imagine you make a few phone calls to the admissions office, huh?
Yeah, they've joked about possibly just moving my office over there for next year. As we have visitors on, we go over and greet them, and I spend a lot of time in admissions. I get a lot of work done on my phone sitting in the admissions lobby for sure.
Well, academics is a big proponent of Division III, and that's what I think some schools struggle is getting kids. Kids want to come to the Division III level because they're not for sure if they could, cut it at D2 or D1, and they'll want to do 3, but they can't get in because the academic standards are so high. Is that something that you think at the D3 level could be maybe laxed a little bit, or do you guys like it where it's at?
I really like it where it's at. I want kids that want to be great students as well as great athletes. Now, that doesn't mean every kid on our roster is going to have a 4.0, but I want the kid that maybe is in that 2.8, 2.9 realm and maybe is on the bottom end of being on our admission standard to know he has a great place to get a lot of support, and he's going to get a great degree because he has the support here, which is better than him going somewhere else where maybe it's a bigger school or the structure is not set up as well. And he doesn't get that opportunity because he doesn't get the helping hand in year 1 and year 2 to help him get that great degree. And then the kids that have super high goals that they want to go on and become a doctor, or they want to work in politics someday and be a really big deal on the governmental side of things, I want them to be here too, and it's a great place for them. I want guys that want both. Wrestling is always going to be a big deal to me. I'm not going to make the statement that one is more important than the other. We want kids that both are very important to them here. It's in my mind, it should be equal parts, and there's always going to be some give and take for one or the other, but it should be equal parts. And those are the kind of kids that we're going after. Even if it's because they want to become a great wrestler, they commit to becoming a great student because they know that's our philosophy, because they want to be a part of our system.
And BV seems to kind of be that school that once you commit, you're committed. I mean, there's only been 4 coaches in the history of BV wrestling. And it's something, and I don't know a whole lot about the school. I've been inside or at least back doors with how the administration is or how funding works, but it seems like if you go to BV, you're going to stay there. There's no transferring out. You're going to finish and get your degree there and find a spot in the workplace. Is the academics, when you're on the recruiting hunt in the state of Iowa, okay, we've got the Iowa Conference alone that you have to compete with, got Grandview, Iowa, UNI, Iowa State. Is academics kind of like your focus when you're sitting down with these kids?
I think it's both, because for us to get where we want to get to as a program, we have to have kids that have high goals athletically. You have to be really driven. Maybe not ready for the Division I grind, but have that same type of aspiration where you want to be a superstar on the Division III level. You want to be a big deal athletically. But at the same time, we're not an institution where you're going to go out and just go get simply the best athlete. You're going to go get the best possible athlete that wants to get a great education. And I think we've done that this year with some of our recruiting class. And I don't say this to knock any other division or how they're going about it, but it has to be an equal balance here where you want to be a great student and you want to be a great athlete. Um, at least for us, for our wrestling program, you need to want to be a great athlete, and the great student goes along with it. I've been at other places along the way where the balance wasn't quite the same. There was a lot more give and take if you were a really good athlete opposed to a really good student, or vice versa. And we're trying to find kids that really want to be both. And so far, I think we've done a good job with that. If it takes us an extra year or two to get to where we want to go to keep that standard, then that's what we're going to do.
Well, you had I think what a really good recruiting tool would be, it'd be your freshman, standout freshman of the year, Nasheed is it Barrow?
Borrow.
Yep. You became the freshman of the year, just came shy of being All-American status, and you got to be excited about this young wrestler.
Yeah, he's a really interesting story. Nasheed was a kid that was in my club back in Raleigh, the Wolfpack Wrestling Club, and things hadn't quite worked out for him where he wanted to go, and the plan hadn't fully come together. And it was June when I got hired, and he was basically one of the first people that I reached out to, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm going. I don't know what you think about moving to Iowa. It's 70 and sunny. Or it's actually at that time it was probably 90 and sunny in Raleigh. I was like, it's going to be cold this winter, but we can get you where you want to go if you want to look into it." So he did some thinking and he jumped in, never took a visit, never did anything like that. Just
Wow.
believed in me and believed in the system that he had seen the NC State program run through, because ours is very similar, obviously with the Division III model, but very similar structure. Believed in all of that and jumped in. And I mean, I was nervous for him the first couple months. Just how's he going to acclimate? How's he going to do academically? Is he ready to handle all of these things all at the same time after moving across the country? And he made more friends in the first 4 weeks than I probably have in my entire life. I mean, he adjusted awesome. Wrestling was never an issue for him. He did a lot of learning this year, still adjusting to the college level, but he picks things up quickly. He's one of those kids that sometimes someone's yelling something from the bench, and I'm like, who is that? Oh, it's Sheed, because he remembered us talking about it last week in practice, and he sees it too. So the wrestling side, it all happened for him, and he's off to a really good start academically, and he really is kind of him, along with a couple of our seniors this year, kind of the poster boys for what you are going to get with BV wrestling.
Well, talk about trying to get kids to buy into your program. Somebody that decides to come to Iowa that probably never even stepped foot in the state, to believe in what you guys are building there is something that you don't see very often. At least take a visit. That's crazy. So when you're getting kids to buy into your program, it's always tough, I would assume, to come into a new division, new state, and try to get kids that are already there to buy into what you're preaching. How has that been over the last 11 months been for you?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. There are times where it's tough. We all know who the good kids are, and we all know who the good students are. And some people have more contacts than we do because they've lived here their entire lives. But we try and get out and out hustle people and make as many connections as we can. And I've taken the kind of the approach that we're going to over communicate. There's going to be no surprises. Every kid that decides he wants to come on campus gets the whole layout of what we expect, top to bottom. It might be the right fit for you. It might not. You might go, coach, you're kind of crazy. This is a little more than I want. And that's okay. But we'd rather have guys that know from start to finish what we're about, what our expectation level is, and believe in that and buy in before they even decide they want to think about coming to BV. That's kind of been the approach. I mean, it's not supposed to be easy. We're in a great conference and we're in a great region, and it's supposed to be hard. And we kind of take the approach that every battle we win was a hard-fought battle that we won. And ultimately, when we get to where we want to go, when we're a team that's in the top 10 every year and a team that is thinking about winning national titles down the road, we've earned that every step of the way. No one's going to hand that to us. And I mean, that's actually how we're going to get there. If it was easy, we probably wouldn't be able to sustain it.
Well, that's the sport of wrestling. Nothing is easy, that's for sure. And the Iowa Conference is probably probably one of the tough. It is the toughest conference in the nation by far, I believe. And the state of Iowa alone, and trying to recruit in that is and getting those kids to believe in what you're doing. How was the reception into the Division III for you from the other coaches? 'Cause a lot of these guys have been around for a while, been established. They know the D3 level. They know the Iowa Conference. What was your welcome to Iowa?
Well, I guess it depends on which side of the welcome. They've been awesome. Hey, anything we can do to help you. I know it's a transition for you. Happy to have you in the conference. Excited, conference is getting tougher, going to get better. All of that stuff. I've even had some coaches, as we were growing this year and trying to change a mentality and a culture around here, come over to me after matches and, hey, I know it's not where you guys want to be yet, but it's looking good. You're doing the right thing. So from that perspective, it's been really good. Now they could have given me a little nicer reception and made some of the team scores not so lopsided early in the season for us, but we got better. We improved. We ended up going from, we haven't been in nationals in a while, and we finished in the top 40 this year, which is not our goal, but it was our highest team finish since 2010. I mean, we made some really big progress this year, and we're really excited about what we have coming in next year and the guys that we have returning. I mean, we're kind of putting it out there. It's a little bit of a bold thought, but we want to be a top 25 team next year. There's no reason for us to not set an expectation like that.
And you guys have been, I know you can't talk specifically about what recruits you have coming in, but do you feel like this is a class that can be kind of a foundation of what you and your staff is going to have in the future? So these kids can look at, a year from now, 2 years from now, and say, this is a group of guys that I had all my hands on. These are the guys that I recruited. Do you feel like this is a good group of guys?
Absolutely. This group is going to set the foundation. That is exactly the right way to put it. They're a group of kids that across the board are all good students. At the very least, everyone's at least a state qualifier. So it's a very solid group. It's going to bring the baseline up in our practice room. And it kind of sets a new standard for what we expect year in and year out. Certainly each year we want to get to the point where we're having kids on top of kids that are state champions, but we got to take a while to build that process. And so right now, having great kids that are great human beings that have a relentless work ethic and they're a state placer, they're going to do really well in college. And that's what's got me excited about what we have coming in for next year. And I will take that every year. Again, I'll take the balance of the kid that maybe hasn't won everything that he ever wanted to win, but he's still really hungry, wants to be a great student, and has really high dreams. So that's kind of where we're coming from with the class. I've told them all the goal is by the time they're seniors, we want to take home a trophy at nationals, and if it can be the biggest trophy that year, that's the ultimate goal. But that's kind of been their mission before they even got the opportunity to come on a campus. People might think we're crazy for that. Maybe 4 years from now, we'll be crazy, but that's their mission, is to, once they're seniors, we want to find a way to take home a trophy. And so they're the starting block of that.
Well, you heard it here from Jeff Breese on the Nike Hot Seat. The foundation has been set. The goals have been set for the Buena Vista wrestling team to get back in the top 25 and be a team to look out for in the Iowa Conference and the Division III level. Jeff, where can wrestling fans follow you and the wrestling team? I know you got a podcast that's going to be coming out more often here at the coming season.
Yeah, so some of the best ways to follow us, obviously our Twitter page at BVU Wrestling, Facebook, Buena Vista Wrestling. And then the podcast I'm really excited about. It's something I'm especially excited about for our alums. Our alums have been fantastic so far. I was told before I took the job that there was a lot of support that was going to be coming, and that's lived up to be the case. I hear from somebody new pretty much every day. And so the podcast was something that we decided to set up more for them. So it was a different way to communicate with our alums and our fans through, instead of just a newsletter, we get to really involve them, and have people back onto the show and talk about the history of BV and talk about the things that are going on. And so really excited to be working with Jason Bryant with that, and the Matt Talk Online. All of that stuff has been really exciting, and it's something that a lot of Division I teams are doing, and we like to steal stuff from Division I teams. We don't have to be just D3. We can do things that the Division I teams are doing, and just do it with a little different style, the D3 style to it.
I mean, if a program gets upset about you copying what they're doing, they're just doing a disservice to the program. All you're trying to do is to promote your program, promote wrestling, and that's what I have noticed about BVU wrestling, the Twitter account. I obviously follow that closely with I Wrestle, and wish we knew what recruits you had coming in. I know the Iowa Conference doesn't allow that to happen from the coaches, and maybe we see that change sometime down the road. Maybe I can be an advocate for that. But again, thank you for coming on the show, Jeff. On behalf of Takedown Wrestling, iWrestle.com, we wish you the best of luck this upcoming season.
Thank you very much.